I still haven't heard from that cop, the new cop. Still nothing. So I'm just gonna go for a walk. Yeah, I wasn't very hopeful. Let me try. Hi, Sub-Inspector. This is Prema again. I called yesterday and left you a message. I'm free to chat today, and I'm wondering if you could call me back. I hope you understand that I'm very anxious to get answers, and to date, the police have not established any contact with us, the family. The sub-inspector called me back shortly, and I got straight to the point. Once again, though, we ran into connection issues. He couldn't hear me, and I really couldn't make out what he was saying. So he said he was going to send me a voice note on WhatsApp. This is what I mean, right? Really shitty connection all the time. Look, after that call, that guy replied. So basically, this sub-inspector is saying that what he's saying in the message is that before the previous inspector left, he submitted a report at the request of an embassy. All I can think about is that we were trying via MFA to get some answers, and MFA had used whatever avenues they have, and I believe it might be that. However, I don't remember getting a report. MFA are pretty responsive in emails, and they never overpromise. That's one thing I must say. All they've come back to me to say is just the Malawi police are just saying no updates at this point. So I'm very surprised to hear this. I suspect it's a report that just says no updates. I'll be very surprised if there's something else. Yeah. Thank you for that update. I have not received such a report. The only thing I heard back via the embassy was that the police have said there's no updates, and investigation is still ongoing. So if you could please help me trace that report and send that to me via email or even on WhatsApp, I'd be very grateful. I think more importantly, what I would like to hear from you, from your understanding, is the investigation still active? But I think the important thing is I now have identified that I'm the sibling and I'm the direct family, and hopefully they maintain that contact. Our local rep there has been very quiet, so I'm also assuming that he hasn't heard anything. So it's the next morning. Before I leave for my next place in a couple of hours, I'm gonna send MFA that email. So I'm saying, good morning. I'm revisiting this email because I just had a phone call with the new investigating officer yesterday, and he mentioned that a factual report was sent out to the Malawi Police HQ responding to a request from the embassy. I'm guessing this is the request we made via MFA and their counterparts. Anyway, I wonder if my mum sees all this in some form, and Arjun himself, whether he sees all of this in some form. I remember when Arjun died, I had gone to a sort of lady who could connect with energy of people who've passed on, and this was very soon after Arjun had passed. And I remember her saying that, whether or not you find out what happened to Arjun, he knows what happened. Yeah, I mean that's a good way of putting it, but I think not having answers sometimes creates this. Definitely creates. It is definitely then. It turns into sort of a traumatic, unresolved event, and I think there's also a part of me that, I have had different episodes in my life that I've had to really work through and overcome through therapy, resolving it. And I just don't want this to be another thing that I have to kind of sit with the rest of my life. Because this one, like everything else before this, the answers were probably within me. This, it requires a different type of level of acceptance that I haven't gotten to yet.